Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you guys so much for joining in Wonder, Wonder, Repeat. This is a new day and a new time. I'm super pumped about that. We are now going to be on Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And so for the first guest, I have Aaron Parris with Switchback Outdoor Safety. So here in a minute, we'll get to know a little bit better. How's it going?
Good. Yeah, it's doing really well. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, no problem. I know we see you at pretty much every event, the big events that we go to anyways, the Rendezvous. And then also coming up next weekend, we'll be at more Expo. So I wanted to hear more about Aaron. Like, I know you do all the events that I don't get to, the classes that I don't ever get to because I'm with the Gaia Guru. So I'd like to hear a little bit more about that tonight for sure. But just first, tell us a little bit about yourself, Aaron.
Well, I'm Aaron Parris, wife Carrie, and we have three boys. Yeah, there they are. Obadiah,
all those blondies right there.
Ezekiel, and Hezekiah. Yeah, they're all blondes. So that's my crew.
That's beautiful family.
Yeah,
the boys don't have the beard yet.
No, they constantly are asking like why I don't have hair up here as much, but it all comes down. And I said, don't worry, it'll happen to you too. And what's funny is my middle now has these beautiful long curls in his hair. And my wife tells him the curls get the girls, and he gets all embarrassed. So he doesn't quite I think he wants the beard, but he's not ready for it. I gave him strong like Amish type names so they could have good beards. So we'll see how that goes. But
I love their names. I love the biblical names.
Thank you.
So how old are they?
Obi is 8, Zeke is 6, and Kai is 4. So.
Okay. So you have a big handful with those boys. I can't imagine.
It's very busy.
Now, do they like the outdoors? Does your family like to camp and stuff?
Yeah, so my boys like being outdoors a lot. There they are, rocking their Toyota shirts. That is in Colorado. That's not Colorado. That's Yellowstone. As we were trekking through there.
Been.
Yeah, so that was last year, I think. It seems like a while ago. Yeah. Maybe it was last year, but that was a fun trip. But they like being out. They like running around, digging in dirt and everything. Yeah. And my wife likes to try and keep them as clean as possible before they get in the campers. So it's a constant battle. So.
Oh yeah, always. It's always a battle. And so here is your beautiful wife, and that you said her name was Carrie.
Yes, her name's Carrie. Yeah. Yep, she is actually co-owner of Switchback Outdoor Safety. So that's the other half that no one really sees except for at the shows when I drag her along. So
she's the better half, right? We're always the better half. I was about to say, I think I've seen her setting up at the shows before.
Yes.
So.
There she sits, waiting for me to get back.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, at Big Iron, right?
That is Big Iron, I believe. You're right.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing your smart cap on the back of your Toyota there.
Yeah, that was after we got rid of the habitat, the ATO habitat that we had for a while.
Right.
So,
right, That's right. So you like your camper? I see you have the Opus. Well, tell me a little bit about your camper.
It's a 2021 Opus, and we had not had a trailer before.
Okay.
I've kind of avoided it for as long as possible because I was afraid it would kind of keep me from getting where I wanted to go. But as you can see in that photo, I have campers. Yeah, it is one of the best trailers I've ever towed, and it does a really great job off-road. I've had a great opportunity to travel with it and camp with it. It works well for us when we go to shows and it's outdoors and we want to work out of it. And it's got a lot of room. There's 2 queen beds in there, of a kitchen table and everything, and so it's pretty solid way to work. So I like it a lot. My wife likes it a lot too. So. Yeah.
We definitely, the first year that we were at Moore, we hit up Adventure Motors and we nearly bought one. Like we were almost dead set. We found one in California because at that point it was kind of, I don't think it was during COVID, but it was like the production was really slow at that because they were just starting out. And then, so there wasn't a whole lot that they could get here in the States. And then COVID hit and the rest. So But that's an amazing camper. That one of the concerns for us was just the air system.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any issues or anything?
No, it is actually one of my favorite things because, when I went out to Arizona and traversed from Arizona all the way up to Grand Junction and through Utah for a 4-wheel magazine. That's the part of that trip. I was out there for Midland Radio. And what was so nice is I literally could just pull up, open up the 2 ends with the 8 clasp, turn on the air compressor and let it go and have a drink and hang out while I was waiting for my camper to fill up. And then once I was done, I was ready to cook and grill and do everything else. I was ready. I was cooking while everyone else was still setting up or getting prepped for the next day. So
it's nice that it does its own work for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound lazy or anything, but it's a lot less work than other systems. So
yeah. I mean, there's give and trades with all. Like some of that, I mean, you may not be able to take that everywhere. There's that whole balance with the whole trailer system for sure.
Yeah, and when it's just me, I've actually went back to a ground tent because I like the kind of versatility of just being able to pack small when I can. Mm-hmm. So if it's just me, I like being able to just be as small as possible. I've kind of gotten away from roof. Yeah, I know, it's really nice, and the rooftop tents are nice and all. And I've had 2 or 3 different ones, and I've had about every brand you could have. ARB. Golly, I'm gonna draw a blank on them all. Free Spirit. Yeah, and they're all great, and they all have really great things. I just, for whatever reason, I've kind of gotten away from that. I got tired of having to climb on top the roof and put on a bag or a cover on the tent.
Yeah.
And so a ground tent's easier. It weighs less. I don't have to worry about my gross motor vehicle weight going up because I've got 200 pounds on the roof rack. So, and it's just kind of things like that.
Yeah, let's talk about your vehicle there, because I know we looked at actually the Gazelles before any of our rooftop tent stuff has incurred, and so we really like the Gazelles, but at the same time, they're about the size of a body bag.
Right.
So in a Jeep, it's hard to find the place for it. So tell us a little bit about your build and your setup here, and there's your tent out to the side.
Yeah, so that is an MSR Hubba Hubba I've had that was for backpacking. I've had for years. Actually, I think I got it in 2007 or 6. I can't remember.
Oh, wow.
And they replaced my Rainfly last year under warranty. After all that time, it got kind of sticky. Yeah, after all these years, right? And so it's a great tent. It's really a 2-person tent. That's why I only take it for me.
Okay.
The truck was a 2017 Toyota Tacoma. I don't know, a lot of people, it's pretty recognizable, but now it's going to be recognizable for somebody else. We just sold that officially. Yeah, so it is officially sold, and we had kind of had it out there in the market, kind of waiting to see what was going to go on. There was a picture I kicked to you that is a white 200 series.
I was like, wait, what?
That's it.
That
is the new build. That is our new build. It is a 2013 Toyota Land Cruiser, and I just got the ARB front bumper for it Friday.
My mind is blown right now. You're announcing this live on the channel.
I know, right? So it's kind of a fun thing. It was kind of one of those things where we actually got that truck in Oklahoma, and we got it.
I love the trees.
Yeah, I know, right? That's down at my main office where I work for my main job, and in Kansas City. It was a good spot, but the truck is solid. I like it a lot. I've wanted a 200 series for a while. I had an 80 in the past, and I just wanted to get back to SUV. Okay. This just kind of fit the bill a little better. It was a V8. It's all-time 4-wheel drive. It fits my family of 5 a little more comfortably than the Tacoma did. And, Adventure Motors and us are working together again, like usual, to kind of get it put together. Right. It won't be together for more, so no one's going to be able to see it quite yet. But they've got about 5 builds they're doing right now. So, at post more, hopefully we'll be seeing the SOS Landy getting ready. So we're excited.
That's incredible. Gosh, I know what it's like to have to start from scratch all over again on the build. I bet you're overwhelmed because your Toyota was already, I mean, it looks sharp, So did you,
Yes.
did you sell it to somebody, or do you still have it and you're being sold?
Yeah. So the funny part is it's sold and it's already gone. So it was on sale for a little while. We actually had it at Adventure Motors listed for a little bit, and it kind of was getting a little bit of attention and traction. And I see people asking, "What's the new rig? What's going on?" And the Tacoma is about as recognizable as my beard is. So I'll be honest, it's going to be kind of funny to see how people respond to it. But the guy that bought it, from what I understand, his name is Aaron. He's out of Louisville, Kentucky, and he has a big beard. So it was just ironic. It went from one Aaron with a beard to another Aaron with a beard. And so I think just people with great taste obviously gravitated to it. So
yeah. Did you keep anything off of it?
Yeah, so we replaced so there was a platinum winch that was on it from Warren, and I took it off and we replaced it with a Warren Evo. And then I took my compressor off because I needed it. I knew I was going to keep it, the dual air compressor.
Right.
But basically the truck went with remotes and some lights and dual battery system, drawers, the smart cap, front runner racks, a steady light bar. It was ready to travel. I mean, it was turnkey, and I just felt like if I was going to sell it, it needed to go the way it should go, and I felt like it was the best way to make it so someone could get out and travel immediately, was just sell it as a whole. So
yeah. Well, we already have a question. What are the build plans for the Land Cruiser?
Well, so I'm kind of this ARB snob when it comes to front bumpers. I don't know what it is. It's kind of the idea that it's a historical kind of piece for me. It screams
you want it to be
overland.
classic.
Yeah, and so for me, it's a classic look on a Land Cruiser. It's very fitting every time. The other part I like about ARBs is that they're tested for crash, for airbag. So I like that. The winch settings are usually pretty easy to set them up in there, and there's space. You can always access the winch, and you can access the drum very easily to make adjustments to the winch line.
Okay.
I also like that you can still access 2 recovery points that you can put to the frame with the ARB bumper. And so that's going to be the first thing. The Warren winch is going back, the Platinum. We're probably looking at some ARB drawers for the rear, just to kind of keep everything organized, because it's going to be tighter. It's not going to be quite a Jeep tightness, but we won't have the cavern of a Tacoma bed to fill with stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to get rid of those back seats, especially with the family. So.
And then after that, excuse me, eventually there'll be, I've already got sliders on it now. I need to get a matching 5th, as that's not really where we're at yet with it. It's still kind of excuse me, it's still riding on the matching 4 with a spare. And so we need to get that done soon. And then I'm very interested in this new ARB base rack, if you haven't seen it. So very intrigued by that new design. We may entertain that just to see. It's very low profile, and I've had a lot of racks between Prinsu and Front Runner. They all have a difference, give and take, and I like them all. Rhino Rack has a couple good ones too that kind of look nice on there. Big Country as well, but I don't know, that new ARB base rack just looks really interesting to me. I want to maybe give it a shot.
What are the models on the new Land Cruiser? Is it pretty good?
Like, where's it at on how much mileage did we buy it with?
Yeah.
It's at 115 when we bought it, so about-ish. So not too bad.
Is that good?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Toyotas are pretty reliable up until about 1 million miles, so I figure I'm pretty good for a while. So
will that be your daily driver as well?
Yeah, so my Tacoma was my daily driver, and this will be my daily driver as well. So it's nice. It does ride well. I mean, that's the nice part about it. So in a lot of ways, you're always like, how much do I modify this to if I got to drive?
I was gonna say, are you gonna change the suspension or anything like that?
Yeah, to meet the needs of the front bumper for towing, there'll be a suspension added. It'll be a mild 2-inch lift. I always seem to always stick with a 2-inch lift with 33-inch tires. It just seems to work well. It's kind of stays with the idea of 90% of the time you're on pavement, no matter what you're doing. True. And so I try to always build my vehicles around that, and then give as much ability to be successful off road as possible. So
yeah. Dang, that's a nice build you got going on. I'm super excited for you.
Thank you.
I think that will get you to a lot of places, and it's just very pretty.
Thank you very
I think
much.
it's gorgeous.
Well, I honestly, I was very torn. I was kind of hopeful that the Gladiator would be a little more spacious in the interior than the Tacoma. As being a Toyota fanboy as I am, I really was looking at the Gladiator pretty hard.
Really?
And when I went to the Jeep dealership, they basically told me, if you're wanting more space, you might as well move to a full-size pickup. And so at that point, I didn't even waste any time, and I just left. And, I guess he could have lied to me. I would have felt, at least intrigued by driving it around. But, his honesty was fair. So, I mean, I was like, well, fair enough. I'll go find what I want. And so that's when the look for a Land Cruiser started. I think Joey Slayton last week was talking about wanting a 200 series Land Cruiser. So him and his wife. So maybe he'll get the fevered now too. I don't know.
Oh gosh, I'll have to mention this to Joey if he's not watching. He's probably getting ready to watch the ball game tonight. The finals playing off. Go North Carolina. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say for that. But anyways, so let's talk about you and your company with Switchback Outdoor Safety. I know you said that's not your full-time job. Just tell me how you got a little bit into that.
Well, I was still doing law enforcement several years ago. And gosh, it's been 4 years ago. And at the time, I was doing a lot of travel stuff on the side. Mike Fuller from Adventure Motors and I were traveling a lot together at the time, and we were camping at one point in Wheeling with our families. I think we were on a 10-day trip on that one through Colorado, and sitting at the fireside, and he's like, have you ever considered doing this? Have you thought about making this part of your living to kind of help people with this? Because, you have some knowledge that might be useful for somebody. And I really, at the time, didn't give it a lot of thought. And so, I don't know, a couple months went by and I had a job change, and then I was thinking, you know what, why not? Why not we just go ahead? So we filed the LLC in January, and then really didn't do anything with it until like October of the same year. So it kind of took a little bit to kind of get the momentum. But when we did, it's kind of been a nice gradual growth, and it's been mostly by word of mouth. What was that?
That's the best kind. I would rather have gradual growth from word of mouth than having to pay somebody to advertise, because I just want it to be a reputation that's built.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing. All of our partnerships, all of our relationships have never been anything that I have, as you said, paid for to get someone to give me lip service. I've unfortunately never had ambassadors or anything like that. I have people that proudly represent our equipment or our recovery equipment, our trauma equipment. None of them are paid, and I'm sorry, it's just, we're not quite there yet. At some point I would love to make that a possibility. But we've had some great relationships. Midland Radio is a excellent company that we've ambassadored for several years. We're a technical advisor for them at times, and so they're right here in our back door. We do a lot of stuff with Adventure Motor as well, just because, again, we've been close friends, and then they've helped us along the way kind of get started. So we've been very blessed in a lot of ways just to be where we're at, and kind of have some opportunities that some would be envious of, and I rightfully understand, and I appreciate those who've lifted us up. So
what is Switchback Outdoor Safety? What all does that entail?
Well, we were
safety
originally. So originally we started as a website to kind of write articles and kind of talk about safety while traveling.
Okay.
And that kind of started by just doing like stuff on forums, Overland Bound. When they started their whole program, I think we were 006 member.
Wow.
And so like they're now into like hundreds of thousands or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so we had wrote some things there on their forums. And so then we translated some of that to our website to kind of put articles up, and that's where that started. And then the next step is we started talking about, well, why don't we just do some training? And then we started putting on classes. And then from the training became, well, where do I buy this equipment? Like you're telling I need this kind of trauma care equipment.
What do you suggest?
What do you suggest? And so
I reached out to you for that just the other day.
Yes, I know. I have a bag for you guys set and ready to go. So it's got your guys' name on it.
Great.
And, I kind of got to that point where I was like, I don't really like just throwing somebody an Amazon website or, a company's website when I could easily pick them myself, get them gathered up, put them together for everyone, and then offer them in a carry solution that I think is what I think is the best solution.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of what we started with that. And then we got approached by a company to do recovery equipment because we were kind of teaching recoveries along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we started having our own recovery equipment. So, you know, and then we've kind of over time continued to, you know, we've got another partner I'm hoping to get brought on with eventually soon. We're working on it. It's going to be pretty awesome once it comes along. No announcements tonight. So
as I say, I'm listening really close.
I know. Yeah, no. It would be one that some might not know. There'd be some that would be like, wow, that's okay. Pretty awesome. But right now I can't really
about that in person.
Can't talk about it. Yeah. So hopefully it's coming around. I've got some good hopes that that's going to happen soon. So
yeah. So what all classes do you teach? I know you can also certify people on some things. Tell me a little bit more about that, because I know that I'm personally wanting to get some backcountry medicine kind of thing certified, and I know that you're trying to hook me up with that. And then also I know you do a lot like the bleeding.
Yeah, so we do a stop the bleed course, which has been a convenient one for us to teach. Mm-hmm. It's easy to teach. And so I see Matt saying, we can't wait for that bag.
Yeah.
He needs it. Sure. I know.
He does. He's accident prone. He actually installed a lift, and he said, and we had to use the grinder again. And for those that don't know what we're talking about, Matt nearly ground down his leg through his shorts. It was great.
Yeah, I'm grateful he's still not peg leg Matt. So, but the classes, we do some trauma care classes, which are nice, and first aid classes. We also do recovery classes for off-road recoveries. There I am holding up one of our soft shackles.
Okay.
And, you know, we also get asked to teach random stuff too. You know, we'll get asked to teach communications type classes. Like, how do we do this? Like, how are we setting up these GRSs? How do we run them as a group? That's kind of happens regularly on a private kind of event where you might have something as a group says, hey, we're going to be doing this for a little bit. We're interested to have you come and teach us. So then I might get contracted out to come teach somebody to do that, which is kind of nice.
Midland, right? Like, so that
you
have that.
So I've done some stuff for them, which has been good. And then, you know, developed some programs for them as well for some of their staff. And it's been a nice, a good relationship. And it's fun to be able to see what's coming down the pipe before everyone else in some ways. It's fun to be able to test some things. And I think it's good because I want to make sure whatever these companies are putting out is stuff that people need, not necessarily in, you know, what they want to, because, you know, you want to make, and you know, the best part about Midland being here in Kansas City is they do want that. They're probably one of the most flexible companies I've ever worked with, where they'll turn on a dime to kind of, you know, make some stuff. I mean, I don't know how many reiterations of the 275 they've made. So
yeah, Hayes Ginther says if it's the partnership that I think it is, then I can't wait either. So.
I think Hayes might know. If I remember right. So
no secrets being given away tonight, Hayes.
No, nothing tonight. So
Matt
just a flesh message.
That man. So part of your system that you have is the recovery. So let's go over a little bit of what you teach in the recovery system. Obviously, you had what did you just call that? What was it?
That's a soft shackle.
Soft shackle. So tell me a little bit. That's Matt, I think, has built one of those whenever we've been watching TV. He just braided some, I don't know what old synthetic line that we had. So tell us what some of that's used for and just how technical do you get in your classes?
Technical kind of depends on our class and like how much time we have. The things I always cover is going to be teaching people to look for ratings and making sure whatever you're using is appropriate for what you're trying to use it on. So, you know, if we're talking, you know, 4Runners, Jeeps, and Tacomas, you know, are you looking at getting something that's going to be a material braking strength or MTSs, and looking at those to see if they're rated accordingly to that vehicle? Are you using, you know, the appropriate, you know, kinetic energy rope for those as well? You know, there's different ratings for all these type of products. If you get too big of a kinetic rope, you won't get the flexibility out of the rope, the rubber band effect. And so it'll be almost like a regular toe strap. If you get it too small, then you'll break the rope, and then it doesn't do any good, you know. So kind of understanding that. There's a cool photo of me there with my
your
beard.
Merch.
Yeah, my merch and my beard. So
you have to put some time of conditioner in that beard, right?
Yes, I do about 3 days a week. You're right. So
You're high maintenance.
I am. My wife says there's more beard products than she has for her hair, which is
Yeah.
funny because I just use her hair products. Don't tell her. So
She's not watching. We won't
yeah,
tell
no,
her.
she's not. She's out with the girls tonight eating, so it's good for her.
That's
But
hysterical.
so yeah, I mean, like we'll kind of break down to kind of help people understand what I consider the basics of just being safe, and then depending on the time of a class, might go into there's some of our equipment right there, and so that's what I consider to be kind of the basic gear I think people should have. You can't always use a soft shackle to connecting to certain bumpers with sharp edges, so you have to use a hard shackle. You may connect to the hard shackle with a soft shackle, but I think that kind of equipment helps you get a long way. The tree saver is good because it can also be used as a tow strap. If you need it to be a tow strap, the kinetic energy rope is really good because it really does a better job than recovery straps. So
this may be an off-the-wall question, but I've seen people like, even whenever they're doing the winch cable, they'll throw like a blanket or a towel or something over the middle of that cable. Is that just so it doesn't do the whole recoil thing? What is the purpose of that?
So if you don't put a dampener on the winch line and the winch line breaks, it comes back with so much force that it could kill somebody or cause significant amount of damage to the vehicle. And so if you don't dampen the line prior to putting all that force on it, there's a high probability that you could get somebody hurt once or if it broke free. So you always
recommend always dampening it.
You always dampen on a winch, yeah, always dampen. There's some people that dampen on kinetic energy recoveries with like kinetic energy ropes and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Even if you're hand winching, I always encourage to throw a dampener on it because there's so much force put into that rope, synthetic rope, or even a steel cable. If steel cable snaps, that's a really bad thing, and the synthetic's just as bad. So.
Right. Yeah, you definitely want to be careful. You don't want to have to use your stop bleeding after a recovery.
Yeah, I mean, it may be the catastrophic event of a winch line snapping could be we may not be able to fix you on the field, so it could be pretty bad. So you want to make sure you're using the equipment as it's designed and making sure you're being as safe as possible for the most unique situation sometimes it can be. So
yeah, I see Joey is finally
there's
showed up.
Joey.
So he says, "Hey, Joey, if you are just now tuning in, I just want to show you this picture of this vehicle that Aaron has now. He no longer has the Toyota. He now has this beauty right here. I'm going to give you a couple minutes just to watch."
Joey, I know that next time you see me, you're going to be wanting to crawl in my truck. That's okay. I'm looking forward to having a good time hanging out and seeing you soon. So.
Yeah, we definitely can't wait to hang out with everybody at More Expo. So Lindsay has a question. She said, "Aaron, will you have a class at More, and what will you be covering?"
I'm glad you asked that. So let me look it up and tell you, actually. Yes, I have.
Let me dial a friend real quick.
Yeah. So actually, if people didn't know, Switchback Outdoor Safety is actually the training sponsor. So we sponsor the training room. So the training room this year is called SOS Headquarters, I think is what Chris has called it. It's really looks snazzy. He's got some cool banners this year. It's got our logo. It is really awesome. And we help bring in all the trainers at More. And actually, Matt is one of the trainers this year at More. And again, thank you, Matt. This is the third year in a row. I'm very happy to have you back again. It's a lot of fun. This is our third year as well, so it's a lot of fun to see friends. And like you said, we see each other at a lot of events. So
we love it.
This year, we are teaching 2 courses. The first one is going to be on Friday at 12:30, which is First Aid and Trauma Care. And I have a good friend coming from TACMed Solutions, Dennis Lyons, who's a former SOF guy. He's going to be coming with me, and he helps design some of these products that we actually put in our kits. And so I've got something very special for everybody this year. If you're coming to our trauma care classes, you're going to get somebody who has more firsthand knowledge about this product that we put in our kits than anybody you'll ever know. So
I've not been able to attend one of your classes, and I want me and Matt to attend one of your classes.
Well, I hope you get to. That would be really great. Yeah. It would be fun to have you guys in. And then on the last day, we're gonna be the bookend on Sunday, the very last class, and that one's gonna be safety and security while traveling. That is a class that we get asked to do a lot of because what is security when you travel, and what is safety? It can be: are we locking our vehicle when we're leaving, when we're in town? Are we having a spare key on us when we're traveling around? what is the idea of, do we go around this hole or do we go through it when it's our only vehicle and we're on a 13, 15-day trip?
Yeah.
Those are the things we talk about, and we look at other
I think you need to mention
circumstances
that
where
several
people.
times for Matt.
I have a sticker that I love that I see that says you have to drive this home, and that's a really great. I think it says stupid at the end of it, but I didn't want to say that about Matt. That's not fair. So
it is totally fair. It is all game. I would say that out loud.
So yes, we're going to be teaching, and there is, as I said, there's other classes. I'll just kind of recap what's coming up because I'm really excited about this lineup.
I would love you to.
Okay, so here's what we have. Prepared John Holbrook out of Iowa is coming down. He's doing crew resource management for overlanders. I think that's going to be a unique and cool thing. It kind of comes from the, I believe he brings it from the aircraft kind of maintenance kind of idea. Awesome. Go Explore USA, which is a new company from Brad Brazell of Ozark. I'm sorry. Natural State. I about backed that up. Sorry. He's bringing a class on auxiliary battery setups. Tony Merriman's doing family overland planning, which I think everyone should have just a little listen, because bringing kids has its own unique issues and things and fun stuff that you can't consider. And I think it's good for people to have an idea, a realistic idea.
And it's hazards. There's some things that you need to be more prepared for with kids who are just going to be climbing over everything.
Yeah, and like the funny part is I went to there's a lake in Kansas that's got a sand beach on it. I don't think I sent you that photo. I took my 2 oldest boys with me too. And, traveling with them is different than traveling with my youngest. And so all of them are unique and they have their own little things that you can get into. But if you've never done it before or traveled with kids, the idea will look like a Facebook or social media post. The reality is you have moments like that with a lot of chaos. So it's good to have this class.
Or you can take a 50-year-old and have that same moments.
No doubt. So Outdoor Eats is coming and doing easy dinners. Justin Huseman's coming and talking about insurance, about protecting your investment, Insurance 101.
And let me stop you right there.
Go ahead.
With the insurance, a lot of people that ask us, does your insurance cover what you do? There's so many hidden things within insurance. I think that is very important to go to for financial reasons, for the future. I mean, you just it's like a winch cable for your finances. You just gotta 100%. Have that security, on what you're protecting. You've got to drive it home, stupid.
That's right. No, there's no doubt. And the best part about, I think, that class is if you don't understand the ride-ons you have to have for the riders that you have to actually put the coverage for the additional parts you put on. Yeah. It's a big deal. Like I literally just took the Tacoma off and I think I saved like over half of my insurance rate for a month because I had so many pieces added on line item to the truck because you've spent all that money and time on getting it installed. The last thing you want to do is have somebody hit you on the side of the road and ruin your complete build. And to get it all back would be financially, it almost reminds me of, what was it, Tiger King? He says, I'll never financially recover from this. I mean, that's basically how you'll feel. So you might as well. And you won't
have any joy like that. Like that, and especially for us, like that's our life, So even if like we wreck our camper, that's going to be our future home, And God forbid something happens, like with Dome Life, who had theirs stolen. Yeah. Like there's just so much involved. Highly suggested.
Yeah, there's a lot there. So then Ham Radio 2.0 from the YouTube channel is going to be at Moore this year, and he's doing a Getting Started Ham Radio, which is really cool. I'm excited for that. That'll be a lot of fun. And then the next day, you'll have Lucas and
full day.
I know, that's a full day of training. Literally, we were running from 10:30 till 5:20 day 1. Day 2, it's 9:30 to 5:20 the next day. So Lucas Ant is doing Overland on a Budget. Bill Wheeler, IW4D TA instructor, is doing off-road recoveries. I have a lot of respect for Bill. I ask him to come back every time if I can. There's a lot of great people in that association, and I'm grateful he's there in Arkansas. So we have Matt McClellan doing
Cara. I don't know that guy.
That guy. And then I forgot, I'm doing a class at 12:30 called Wilderness Critical Event Preparedness. And then Aaron Winsky is doing a basic radio communication. Austin Frace is doing amateur radio applications of overlanding. He's got some interesting stuff he's doing with be able to track your locations off of different radio points. which is kind of unique and some neat stuff he's doing. So I'm excited to kind of see what he's going to be able to bring.
Are you talking like an inReach? Like an
No,
inReach
it's a completely ham radio system, and so it's all with APRS, if you know what that is.
I have
and
no
so
clue.
it basically hits a little repeater type thing, and then it goes and tracks where you've been. It's pretty cool. So he's got some neat stuff he's doing with that. Lithium battery power is coming to do Power Your Lifestyle. Outdoor Eats is doing another Easy Dinners, which these are going to be taste testers, by the way. So if you're coming to a class and you want to have a little something to walk away with besides like a few throwaways, Easy Eats is or Outdoor Eats is doing some taste testing. Then the next morning, Outdoor Eats is doing Beyond Oatmeal for breakfast. So if you wake up and you're like, hey, I'd like to try some breakfast food in the morning, go over to his class. Then Red Arc is coming back this year, and they're doing a 12-volt system. Yep, love them, great company. Mm-hmm. Then Element Outdoors is doing planning a Moab adventure. And then again, we got safety and security while traveling. So
that's so cool.
Joey likes easy dinners. Yeah. Joey likes to eat just like I do. So that's why I like hanging out with Joey, because we are kindred spirits. So
I think he may like easy dinners, but his Toyota is built up to be a kitchen. So
I've never seen him do an easy dinner. He's cooking steaks. He's like doing a full spread every time.
Never.
And it doesn't matter if it's coming down a deluge. He's cooking and he's happy.
He is. And he's going to eat there and he's just going to love his life.
That's right.
I'm super pumped about that list of all of the classes for more. That's bigger than what it was last year.
It's grown every year to the point of this year. We actually we talked about doing another class in another classroom, but the reality is the logistics of doing that gets to be a little bit chaotic because, you know, you have to be able to keep everybody on time because we're all sharing time, and rotating, giving a 10-minute rotation between classes is tough.
Oh, I know.
You know, from Matt's point, doing Gaia in 50 minutes is tough. You know, any class is tough. So it's easy for all of us to go over our time, and it's easy for all of us to continue to talk because we're all, you know, used to talking quite a bit. So
if one person goes over, it's like a little trickle until you have that one person that's like, I'll cut my class short and then we're back on track. But you know, who's going to be that person?
Nobody wants to give up time, which is cool because it means that everybody cares about what they're telling the people that are showing up to their class, and they care about what they've got. So it is a great group of people we've got coming this year. I'm really excited. So
yeah. And I know in the unofficial room on Saturday at 2 is going to be the ladies' women's roundtable, where we're going to be talking about some ladies 101 things. And I know we have an air tool that I'm giving away, and we're going to give a guy membership.
Oh, that's awesome.
We have a lot of things that we have in store for the ladies because I'm a firm believer that ladies want to be there and they need to learn that education too. So
it's funny you should mention that because come June 18th, the Lady Overland Weekend, I think you're going to be there, right?
I'm going to be there.
So guess who else is going to be there?
Who?
We're going to be there.
You are?
We're there.
What are you teaching? Oh, yeah. You know what? I think I remember Missy saying that now that you mention it.
Yeah, she reached out. There? We're teaching off-road recoveries. So we're going to be there teaching a block on that. This will be this will be kind of the faster progress of making sure everyone gets the real nitty-gritty basics down for safety. I hate saying that because I hate rushing through anything that's safe, you know, and I could talk on it for hours. So
Harley said it would be key. Just stick to your time slot, please.
No doubt. Yeah, please do not deviate from the time schedule, as many depend upon you being
we do.
Very concise.
Yeah. And where is the actual classes going to be at Moore? Is it going to be in that building out front of the entrance?
So if you're at the fairgrounds, the doors that you enter, there's a door on the left and right when you're facing the building. Mm-hmm. The door on the left, if you were to do a 180 and look behind you, there is a building that you described. It's an outdoor building. It's kind of like a small little restaurant type thing.
Mm-hmm. I think it says like it has like a restaurant sign, I think.
Oh yeah. It's a total, you're like, it's 100% it was a restaurant or is a restaurant. So
yeah. Aaron is always after my class and has to get me out.
That's not true.
He's sitting there watching this time.
That's not true. I've not thrown anybody out of a class. I'm usually back there doing one of these, like.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's a nice room. The last year was kind of tough because of COVID. Not to speak the bad 4-letter or 5-letter word, but Now we're able to get back to full capacity. Everyone can cuddle up with their buddies. And so we'll be right next to each other. We'll be getting a full room again. It'd be nice. We're looking forward to it. So then our booth, that door that would go out, I think that's the west door. Yeah. So it would have been technically, if you're looking outside, looking in, it's the left door. But our booth is actually going to be in that hallway this year. So it's going to be super convenient. So we can actually kind of talk to people as they're waiting, answer questions about the classes, and kind of continue to, talk about what we do and what we have to provide to people. So it's going to be a great opportunity. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. So what are the plans as far as the classes go? Do people sign up ahead of time? Do they just show up? Do they need to be there at a certain time before a class starts? What is your ideal scenario there?
I think the best case scenario for anybody is first come, first serve is the way it works. So if you're really interested in a class, didn't hear no bell. I will make sure I bring a bell this year. So that everyone
you should bring an air horn.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
So, I think the best thing I've told people in the past is if you're really wanting to be in that class, before we were walking everyone over, I think we'll try and at least line everybody up to kind of give space for people to get in and out. Because what I don't like is, even though we have a time schedule, what I don't want is people feeling like they're being ran into. The first year, it was kind of interesting because you had people trying to come in.
It was crazy for Matt that first year.
Well, we were trying to get people out, and I'm like, you can't do that. Of course, we're in a different room. There's only one way to do it. And so now we have more space. We have a little area. What I would encourage everyone to do is come over by my booth, line up. Let's get everyone kind of coordinated over there. And then I'll say, hey, it's time, head on over. And then that gives everyone an opportunity to get in and kind of have the ability to get out without having people trying to get in at the same time. So,
yeah, I totally think that that's going to be a very good way to do that. I know you said you can cuddle and you can sit on your friends' laps. But I'm going to ask, just because I know some people out there are very sensitive and they do have health conditions. Are masks required or anything like that for these classes?
From what
or is
I
it just a personal?
It's a personal choice at this point. So there's no requirement from what I understand in Springfield nor at the fairgrounds this year. So if you have a personal concern that you want to wear one, I would say, go ahead and wear one. No one's going to, make you feel uncomfortable in that way.
Right.
Come on out and still experience it and see
it. And if they do make you feel uncomfortable, come and find me or Aaron because
that's right. There you go.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. I can't wait to attend. There's so many classes that I definitely want to attend because normally we're running around like chickens with our heads cut off. But now and it's going to be bigger. So there's so much stuff outside and inside. It's going to be overwhelming.
Yeah. And so it's kind of funny because my wife kind of is like, where did you go? Like if I went to go kind of get a class settled out, like I might end up talking to somebody because, we've been doing this a while and we created trade partners and friendships and stuff. And you guys have the same thing. You end up finding someone. Next thing you know, you've talked to them for 15 minutes. And I'm like, oh no, I was supposed to be back 5 minutes ago. And my wife's still tending the booth by herself. And so, I always am like, sorry. But we definitely,
I set up Matt an itinerary. Like I have it on my phone and it's going to alert him and it's going to you have to be that way just so that way you can keep track of where you're at and where you're supposed to be.
No doubt. But there's so much, like you said, there's so much good stuff this year. Chris has brought in a lot of great companies and a lot of great vendors and manufacturers. There's some neat, different stuff that's been going on. That guy knows how to throw a party better than anybody I know.
Yes.
So, and that kind of brings us up to the other thing. Moore's this week, and we're all really talking about that. But the funny part is Big Iron comes up in June 10th, 11th, and 12th. And that's the party that I think is the party of parties. That one's just hang out and chill and just talk,
it's like a big
travel.
Camp.
It is. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of music, a lot of food.
Yeah. And so you're going to be there for that.
We'll be there for that. We'll be teaching likely again. The funny part is I'm kind of like you. At some point, I'd almost just like to attend one of these things instead of like work it because it didn't used to be where there was an event like this in this area. And now that there is, it's like, I feel like now I'm missing out because we're part of the party.
Right? That's
Singing.
You're located in Kansas.
Kansas City in Missouri. Yeah.
That's what I thought. So, Big Iron being in Kansas. I love Big Iron so much. And honestly, we worked it last year. That was the first year, but it did not feel like we worked it. It felt like we were hanging out with friends and it was super, super laid back. And I'm sure Matt will teach another guy a class if Chris calls him. It's just such a great, it's just like a get together with some of the, and like there was no trash left around.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it so much.
And it's a neat place, to see Brutus and all that is really cool. And to be able to tour the whole thing it's a neat event. I just really
meet the people that worked on it. Like, sit
super
down
cool
with them and listen to their stories. And I totally agree. Totally agree. So what are you shopping for at Moore? For your Land Cruiser. Now that you have a new vehicle build.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I have some trade partners I'm looking to meet with, just to kind of say, hey, where are we at on some things? Like, we have some relationships we're trying to continue to support, and I would like to make sure that we'd like to make sure that we're having those conversations. But at this point, I think suspension is fairly squared away. The front bumper squared away. The winch is squared away. Drawers are fairly squared away. Roof rack, I've got a good feeling on. So at this point, I think I'm content with equipment. I know that sounds weird, but I'm at a weird place. I'm just in a weird place with builds. I mean, I don't need a lot to be able to do what I need to do anymore. And I think a lot of times there's a tendency to want to buy more to compensate for lack of knowledge sometimes. And I'm not saying that's the case for everybody. Because sometimes if you have an open checkbook, it's just fun to put stuff on and see how far you can go with the build.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get trade partners and you can do some extra stuff you're like, I wouldn't have done that normally, but I'm definitely happy I did, And so I think right now I've just got good working relationships with good partners. I'm willing to spend money where I'm willing to spend it. And, the fact that we sell our own recovery equipment, we have our own trauma equipment, we have working relationships with some good partners and build shops. So, in a lot of ways, we're just in a good place where, I don't need anything extra. I know that sounds really weird. Maybe I'm like an old fogey now or something, but I've been through like 4 or 5 vehicle builds and over several years. I go big and go home.
Stop talking
That's
about
awesome.
Yeah, I will say though, we honestly, with my new build and even with Matt's, Matt's is more the person that you're saying he can do whatever he wants when he wants. But on mine, I've had to pay for some of the things, like straight out of my pocket. Sometimes we got discounts, sometimes we don't. We are honest in all that we get. But I have built a vehicle before, and so I know what I need versus the things that I want. I have a Casey shirt that you'll see. It says "Lights Before Lockers." I'm all about some looking pretty. I drive a freaking pink Jeep, with clear lids.
I love that Jeep. It's awesome.
I love her. She's beautiful. But I've went really good with the suspension. I wanted good bumpers. I did the things this time around smarter than what I did before, and I think like you. I'm very minimalist as far as I didn't want the huge bumper. It's a weight thing for Jeeps, and so it's just and then you got to think about the space, just like you said. And so there's some things that I think, yes, I don't need a clear lid for the Freedom panels, but I got it because they're cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so, but I think I'm like you, I'm just kind of okay with where we're at and what we've chosen. There's going to be people offering all different kinds of things.
Yeah, and I think, and maybe you guys are, it's hard. This is a weird conversation to be having where some people are like, I can't believe he's not heavy, he's my overlander. I love that. What a good song too. But
that's a song?
Well, he's not heavy, he's my brother. That's a song. It's from the 50s, I believe. But anyway, so I
don't know how old you are,
unique
but
when
you just aged yourself.
I'm 40, so I've got weird taste in music. But the funny part is when you have trade partners and vendors and stuff like that do offer you equipment from time to time.
Yeah.
It's easy to go ahead and say, "Oh yeah, I'll take that because I won't have to pay for it, right? Or I'll get a significant discount." But what I've found over the years of doing that is I end up having to replace it later if it's not a company I would have really wanted to do business with in the first place. Yeah. I'm just kind of at that point where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy once and cry once. I don't even care if I have to pay for it anymore because the reality is, there's a lot of great products, and there's a lot of great companies. But I think sometimes you have to be considerate of what is it you're trying to do, not what everyone else is trying to do. And that's
and
kind
I'll
of
also
why
say, some of the things that you do want, they don't offer. And so I'm just going to buy it because that's something that I want.
Yeah.
you know, so I totally get it.
Yeah, and I love watching the fun bills too.
That's
That's
true.
funny, Matt.
That's really true.
But you know, even on Matt's side, it's like it's fun to watch the gladiator get built up. You know,
yeah.
There are some really fun YouTube channels that I've watched over time, and it's like Swell Runner. When he started with his Forerunner and watching him build it, Jason then went to the Ram, and to see the difference of why he changed and how he's traveling now. Now, obviously, he's not putting out
now
any
he's got
videos
a gladiator, right? Doesn't he have the white
I don't know if he has a
gladiator?
gladiator or not. He's got a white Ram. That's what he's got now. So it's a big 2500 Ram pickup with a HE habitat on it now. So
if I'm thinking of the same guy, I think he has a gladiator now.
Maybe
like
he
may have the Ram too.
Yeah,
I think
maybe
he also
does.
has a gladiator. I don't know. Anyways, we'll have
but
to.
I think it's
look
just,
it up.
You know, it's funny as people kind of progress through. Our needs change. You know, my needs have changed. My needs have changed from my wife and our kids being smaller to our kids are getting bigger. And if I'm going to continue to camp and travel with my family, which I want to do, I got to accommodate that in some capacity, which means my build changes. And then, the other part is I don't need a rock crawler. I hate to say I'm more towards an overlanding vehicle, whatever that means in the United States, that term of overlanding, but like a touring vehicle. Yeah. And so for me, I need to be able to go off road, but I'm not going to put on a whole bunch of stuff that's unnecessary that creates more problems for me,
Yeah, I totally agree. Matt just said yes, he has a gladiator and the Ram.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well, I didn't know he had the gladiator.
Yeah, I thought he.
That's fun.
But I've not seen any of his new things, but I knew that he was like pretty bone stock. I don't even know if it was Rubicon or not. But Travis was wanting to know. We were talking about Swell Runner. Travis, it's another YouTube guy. Look him up. He's a great guy. And then Harley Martindale says it's not the size of the tire; it's how you use them.
That's right. That 33 is always a winner. Skinny talls. I like them.
I do like to go off-roading a lot, and I do like to overland. But at the end of the day, I don't want scratches. There's places that Matt goes in his Gladiator that I probably will never go. And that's one of the reasons why we kind of have the best of both worlds.
Sure.
I tell a lot of the people in our close circle, they said, are you going to go through the mud with that? Because it's a pink Jeep, and she's very dang well capable. But I said, no, I like it on the rocks better than frozen. So
that's awesome.
I definitely like that. But you've been some pretty cool places too. Let's talk about some of your trips. I see here we have some in Moab. That's the Potash Farms. I think that's Hurrah Pass. When did you go out there?
That was with Four Wheel Magazine and the Midland trip as a Midland ambassador. So we were representing them and supporting the trip for comms. So we basically, Midland had given an opportunity for everyone to get Midland radios. I think there was like 20 drivers and vehicles, and then the support staff, the camera crews, and everything that did for the magazine. And so everybody was running Midland radios by the end of it. There was a lot of people running other non-GRMS radios that were modified to work, and they were not working the way they had hoped they would. And eventually they said, hey, do you have any more extras? They're like, do you have any extra Midlands? I'm like, I've got 6 more in the back. Yeah, let's put one in. I installed one in less than 3 minutes on the side of the trail, and the guy was ready to go.
That's awesome.
And that was before we had released the 500, I believe it was. So there was some of us had the 500s that were testing them for distance out there. So that was kind of nice.
Yeah,
that was a good
really
trip.
Cool. I will say we love Midland, and you said, they're great at giving out radios. I have a small request. If they hand out children radios at Moore, can we all have them programmed on the same station to alert other people not to be on this station?
Yeah, that was a fun one at Rendezvous with the little FRSs, wasn't it, when they handed those out? That was chaos. That was a lot of fun, though, right? So
yeah, I'm glad to see the kids having fun for sure. And then there's this trip. Where is this going through?
That is Arizona to Utah on the same trip. So that was a very long trip. I drove from Kansas City all the way to Arizona to meet out at Powell Lakes, I think it was. Is that right?
Okay.
Maybe Lake Powell. I can't remember. And then we went from there and then traversed all the way up to Utah into Grand Junction, where I jumped out and went back to Kansas City. So.
Gotcha. That's beautiful to be able to go through that water. And that looks like Colorado.
That is Colorado.
Okay.
And I can't.
One of the
Colorado.
passes. I think
it's Colorado. Yeah, that's Colorado.
Those mountains look really Colorado-ish.
Yes.
I don't know if you can look like that, but
Definitely Colorado.
And then,
That is also the Midland trip as well.
okay.
I think I sent you several of those just because they photographed it so well. It's hard not to send them. I mean, when you
Beautiful,
got
yeah.
professional photographers, now
That
that is
does
everyone's
not.
favorite backwoods area. That's Ozarks right there.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place down there.
That looks like it's on the Ozark Overland Adventure Trail.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was in, I don't remember what year that was, but that was before you guys kind of did the big push and publish on that. It was a kind of a nice little, Matt gave me a secret trip, and I was like, yeah, I'll drive that. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's super blast. We have a lot of fun on that trip for sure. Mr. Overlanding Adventures of America, that's a long word, says, if y'all make it out to Northwest Wyoming, holler at us. We are hosting Bridger Teton National Forest Campground.
When is that, Mr. Overlanding Adventures of America? That sounds like a great time. I love Wyoming.
Yeah, I've never been there. Harley said a lot of kids walkie-talkies showed up on Channel 1.
Of course.
Yeah, we're super
Did you have
pumped.
what was that one photo you said you were very interested in? Was it the South Dakota one?
Yes, I think so. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on just a second. Not that one.
My family took like a 10-day trip from Kansas City all the way out to Yellowstone. That is in Kansas, actually.
Okay. Now, what's in Kansas besides Big Iron?
That is an off-road park.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay.
And
then you also have.
That is in northern Missouri, teaching an off-road recovery class. That is when I had the Habitat, which was I loved that truck that way. It was a great way to travel and camp.
Is it kind of like an AluCab?
Kind of. AT Overland started out with trailers, and then they built this, and then AluCab kind of came along a little bit right after them. But it is an aluminum body. It opens up in a clamshell model, so it kind of folds out like this, and then has an overhang. And if you find that South Dakota one, it's opened up. You see the full overhang. There it is. There's my beautiful wife.
Yeah, there she is. So yeah, this one was really cool. I was going to mention this to you earlier. This is actually the one that I think we were just talking about, because I thought that was great sand dunes. It's definitely not the white sand dunes, but you said this was in the Badlands.
Yes, so this is in the Badlands. It's a campsite that I found on iOverlander, and it was just a nice pull off on some area there. It is gorgeous. It was like being on the moon. It was just crazy.
Is it that flat everywhere there? Like besides the sands right there?
There's a lot of rolling dunes and then some plateaus, but there's a lot of flat areas, and then the wind can just cut through. So like there's in that area we were kind of tucked into a few different mounds, which was kind of nice to kind of protect from the wind.
Yeah. Did it have a lot of sand like you were? Because when we were at Potter, the sand there can get pretty brutal with the winds.
It wasn't too bad at kicking it up, but you could, there was definitely a little bit of dust blowing around. So
yeah. So I'd love to see you and your family getting out there together. So you all like to go. Your wife wants to go. You said that if you were told to go to Yosemite and get out, and she would pretty much be down for it.
She's really about, she doesn't mind it. So let me just clarify, of the two of us, she is not like the 100% all about the outdoors. Now if I would say, let's go backpacking, definitely not,
Okay.
But over time,
definitely, I'm not that either.
Yeah. So over time, getting the Opus and having a shower and a regular bathroom and those things have obviously made it way easier for her to feel more comfortable. And then, I just over time having the idea that the boys are not going to stay clean, that kind of helps too. So it's just taken a while for her to get there, but she's pretty good with it. So
I totally understand that. You definitely have to have some comforts as far as a woman goes. Some women are not for all this that you guys do. We don't want to, like I said, we don't want to get scratches. We don't get muddy. We don't want to have tick checks every night. We're just we're good. So yeah. Mr. Overlanding said May 15th through September 15th.
Is it that whole time? That's a set of time.
Yeah, it says if y'all make it, let's see, if y'all make it out to Northwest Wyoming, holler at us. We are hosting Bridger Teton National. Oh, I bet you they're host at that campground.
Oh, that makes sense.
And that's how long they're there.
Oh, there you go. That makes more sense.
That's a great gig to have. Me and Matt have talked about that when we go full time, is to set up at a place and become a host.
Well, yeah.
That would be incredible.
It'd be fun to do that. I definitely, I will look you up, Mr. Overlanding, if I get a chance this year.
Yeah.
This year, we're actually going to be traveling to Alaska, July 8th, 9th, and 10th. We're teaching a class up there in conjunction with Alaska Overlander and Total Truck Alaska. So they've asked us to come up, and so we're teaching a recovery class, a trauma care class, and then a high lift recovery class. And so each day is going to be different. I believe we actually have our SF guy that's coming to do trauma care with us.
I will cut myself, and you can do the trauma on me if you will take me to Alaska.
There you go. So it's going to be, that may be our biggest trip. We're going to be there for 2.5 weeks as a family, traveling and kind of seeing things there, because it'll be our first time there. And I really don't want to cut that short. And so, this year we may not see you this year, but Mr. Overlander, it would be cool to go back to Wyoming. It's one of my favorite states, but Alaska is kind of our big push this year, I think. So.
Yeah, he said it's Curtis Canyon, just above the Elk National Refuge, just outside of north of Jackson Hole.
Yeah, I've been out that area. It is awesome.
Yeah, I would love to be able to go to Alaska too, though. So, Matt with Ozark Overland Adventures says, "How do I get invited on a Midland trip? Asking for a friend."
Come talk to me at more. We'll see what we figure out.
He's a jerk.
He's a hoot.
Yeah, Travis said, "Aaron, I want to chat with you at more if we get a chance." So definitely,
Travis, I would love to talk to you and everybody else out there listening.
He's actually a paramedic. He's
it's great.
Yeah,
I would love to talk to you, Travis. I don't know if Travis has emailed me before. Name maybe looks familiar, so we'll see. Mm-hmm. But we definitely want to hook up with anybody that's interested.
He was at Rendezvous. Yeah, he's from Florida. They actually
Very cool.
Florida, Texas area, but
awesome.
I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Did I tell you congratulations on 43,000 subscribers? I mean, on YouTube, crazy. That is crazy.
I know.
That's just absolutely awesome.
It's incredible to see the growth. Like, I remember when we hit 1,000, and I remember looking at Matt, and I said, "Matt, so do we get one of those plaques from YouTube now?" He's like, "Babe, that's 100,000." I was like, "Oh,
yeah."
But to just think from that to this, it just blows my mind. It's very humbling, and it's just through word of mouth and people following what we do and supporting us along the way. And it's honestly, connections and friendships that we've made are better than sometimes our family. And I know my mom's watching. I'm not talking about you, Mama. Love you. But, we develop those friendships, and it's a whole different lifestyle whenever you're out there, putting together winch recovery things where you're putting your life into someone else's hands, and you're getting able to share meals around a campfire without electronics. That's what it's about.
Yeah, it's pretty special. And I love that you guys have done it organically. I love that I've been able to watch you guys along the way, and I think I sent you guys a message when you guys got 15,000. I was like, that's awesome. Yeah, like, congrats.
You did.
Here we are at 43,000. And I'm like, that's insane. Keep going. Let's see 100,000 by, December. So if you're listening, share this with everybody out there. Let's get 100,000 before December. I just think I want to see these guys blow up and just be on the sidelines, just being like, hey, I remember when they were small time and they invited me on. So that'd be awesome. So
yeah, that's super sweet of you. We appreciate you and your family, Aaron, very much. So what's in the plans for Switchback? Obviously, you have some other things coming on. Where can people, obviously more, we're going to be at more. It's going to be incredible. Right. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you can go to switchbackoutdoorsafety.com.
Yep. So you can find us at switchbacksafety.com. That's the website right there at the bottom of the screen. You can call me at 816-533-3859 if you have questions. You can email me at Aaron, AARON, at switchbacksafety.com. I like to help people if you're looking at trying to figure out what recovery equipment you need for what you're doing. I will always tell you, even if you don't buy from me, I just prefer people to have the right stuff to take care of themselves and their family. We want you to come home with having stories and experiences that are positive and not a medical trip or, tore up equipment. We have more coming up April 8th, 9th, and 10th in Springfield, Big Iron in Kansas, June 10th, 11th, and 12th, Lady Overlander, June 18th in Arkansas. And then July 8th, 9th, and 10th, we'll be in Alaska for Total Truck and Alaska Overlander. After that, I think my wife says, let's take a month and see what's going on after that so we can have some family time. So we'll see what happens in the fall. I'd like to see a couple more classes kick off this year. it's been a banner year for us. It's been a banner year for you. We're looking forward to just see 2022 being the best year for Switchback that we've had. So we appreciate, again, you guys. We appreciate everything having us on. Thank you for all those that have supported us along the way. And again, just continued growth for you guys is awesome. So
yeah. Thank you so much. We look forward to partnering with you and seeing you at more Expo. And I hope to see you. I didn't hear you mention, but Rendezvous.
Yes,
Surely,
I didn't put Rendezvous.
Surely you'll be at Rendezvous.
Yes, gosh, I feel terrible. Randy's going to be mad at me Rendezvous. We will actually be doing training at Rendezvous. This is what's so funny. We're doing the training at Rendezvous, and we're doing a booth, and we are actually helping with the first aid tent. Last year, we got thrown into first aid, which has happened at a couple events, but last year we got thrown into first aid at Rendezvous. We're actually going to be looking to try and bring some partners in with that. So Travis, we may really need to talk because I've got a lot of stuff on my plate at Rendezvous. So if you're a paramedic and you're looking to help, come talk to us at Switchback at more, and we'll see if we can get you to work at Rendezvous. So
yeah. Well, thank you for coming on, Aaron. I know tonight's been a little bit crazy as far as it being Monday at 7 o'clock as our new time, but now we're here, and you were my first person, and we survived.
We did great. I love it. Thanks for having us. It was a great conversation. So.
Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking with us, and we'll see you this weekend at More. Come and find us. Be sure to follow him on social media as well, and at the More Expo, you'll be able to attend a lot of classes. So can't wait to see you. Bye, guys.